the PRG1 ROM is way less likely to pause and crash on you than the PRG0 ROM. So hopefully your cartridge is the former and not the latter. So the way that this whip upgrade system works is like once you have more than 5 hearts, the next small heart that would normally drop is instead a whip upgrade. Then once you have more than 8, the next small heart that would normally drop is instead the second whip upgrade. That's useful knowledge for recovering from deaths if your goal is just to 1cc this. And in speedrunning, they actually avoid the second upgrade for a really long time. If you really just want to go all out with corny holy water shit, the first one is up here, and you can attempt to keep it throughout the whole game. The thing about this that's like cool, it's really strong that I think a lot of people don't notice right away is first of all, the holy water bottle does a lot of damage in this game. They tone it down in like every subsequent installment in the series. But the angle that it flies at is pretty nice. Shit. So, hang on. Give me a sec. This is how you do this. You stand here and then you fuck it up. You stand here at the edge, and I like to line up the right side of his foot with the right edge of the platform, which is easier on emulator or an RGB setup like I've got. And then once the bat spawns, you just shuffle left and then jump to the right. But you do take damage for doing that. So first of all, there's meat down here. And second, if you don't want to do that, this section isn't too tough. You have to look out for these guys because, you know, you go flying back when you get hit, and they can knock you into the water. If you just hold right from the moment you can in the basement section here, you won't get hit into the damage boost is really just to save a little bit of time and tedium. Duo. So the boss, oh, well, I have holy water now. I can't demonstrate that. If you have holy water and you want to be like just super corny, you hit that block there and it'll give you a multiplier. And then you stand right where I am, so in between these two blocks. And the bat will fly around, and when it... What are you gonna do? Ooh. Oh, you play on gamepad? That's hard. Okay, so once it flies down here, you give it just a sec to flap its wings, and then just start doing this. You don't want to do it too fast, but it'll burn to death. So the way this works is that Roman numeral 2 means you can have 2 holy waters on screen at a time. So if you hold up and mash B, you'll see like it throws 2 and then swings. So yes, if you go too fast, the bat will break free. But it's really not necessary to do this. There's an axe right here. So if you really want to use sub-weapons on it, just do this. You can go ahead and grab this anyway. But in all honesty, it doesn't make a big difference because it's kind of hard to have 2 axes on screen. And just don't jump. If you just sort of walk along the bottom here and throw axes, he dies really fast. There's another thing you can do. Normally you would have the stopwatch for it. Go right here. Take 1 step up. And if I had hit the frame perfect timing there, and hit the bat on the same frame that it hit me. Oh, I think I just fucked it up because I ducked to make the save state. There. It dies instantly. It's weird. I have a really bad success rate for that when I'm like actively trying to improve my very slow speedrun time. But if I'm just playing it casually, I have like a 70% success rate on that. Okay, so the thing that I was gonna say about the holy water is like, in the first place, it's a really strong sub-weapon because it has a little more range than the max upgrade whip. But if you hold up and then Think of it like a car cancel almost, like you just go A, B like that. Right here. You see, like, it's got tremendous range, and a lot of stuff is going to tend to be flying up in that area that the holy water was just soaring through. But let's assume you lost it. There's a cross right here. There's an obscure property of the cross that will occasionally come in handy when you're playing casually, where if two targets are overlapping, it'll like alternate between hitting them per frame. It's a 60 FPS game, so they die really fast. There's points down here. There's not really any point in getting score items, but you do get extra lives points. So if you're just trying to one credit the game, then it can help out. The big thing when you're like learning the game is just remembering where all the sub-weapons are, because you don't want to accidentally grab one. And often they're like marked in some way. So these guys are really hard to deal with when you're like new to Castlevania. Medusa heads, where are they? Come back. Generally, if you just keep walking, they'll go under you. But you see, it didn't work there. If you're not sure why, it's because the screen centers on Simon, right? So when you first walk in a room, the scrolling will be locked until you reach the middle of the screen. So often, Medusa heads are most dangerous right when you first enter a room, because you need to get to the middle of the screen before you hit the point where they can just walk and damage you, or and go under you. Don't pick that up. Often you'll find that sub-weapon candles are somehow marked in this way, like they're under or over a window. So it's not like just rote memorization, but it's just rote memorization. This room, this is a very common site of your first death, because these Medusa heads, you can't just walk on, over them to trivialize them, like most of them. So, and of course, if you get hit here, you're dead, probably. So even if you're playing casually and you don't give a shit whether it takes you like 80 minutes to beat the game, there's a damage boost I would recommend playing here. I forget if there's like meat on the wall over here. There might be. Yeah, it's too much to take in at once. Yeah, there's not even meat over here. There might be like something. I don't know. I guess not. So if you don't want to do this whole platforming sequence, which you shouldn't want to do this whole platforming sequence, I would recommend learning this damage boost. There are a few ways to do it. Also, these moving platforms are deceptive. You would think that I wouldn't have fallen there, but I did. And I did it extra late to guarantee that would happen. Sometimes you are 100% sure you made it and you fall. So, I think the fast setup for this is you go up here, you just swing your whip once, and you just go. And it looks really dangerous, but you don't miss it, I think. Probably the spacing of that jump is a little picky. I'm gonna try to fuck it up. Yeah. So it's not totally free, that setup. So what I would recommend is wait and kill this, and then go. And then wait for this one here. You just jump and let it hit you at the apex of your jump. It's easier than you think, because at the apex, like, you hang around the same, I don't know, 3 or 4 pixel position for quite a while. And this particular boost is really forgiving. Then you just walk through here. You should learn that. Also, you shouldn't be scared to take damage because there's meat right here anyway. There's no reason not to grab that if you're not speedrunning. So this part sucks. You want to get flushed with this and then wait for the 3rd tick upwards, I think. And wait here. Crouch here. And then just wait here and then walk when it's safe and you'll get through. If you want the holy water, it's right here. See? If you want the holy water, it's right here. That's where they grab it in the speedrun, actually, I think. I don't recommend doing this damage boost, but I'll show you. You just jump twice right here in the middle of these 2 blocks. This is honestly sort of a hectic area. Probably you just want to, I don't know, how do you do this like casually? Yeah, you just jump really late there. And you can get a double for the holy water up here. So this is probably the way to go. But if you want to take this damage boost, you can really only miss it once because the ghost is coming after you. And it's easy to be too far to the right and not realize it. And then the end of it is a little picky too, because you have to be holy watering the, this looks funny. You have to be holy watering the bone pillar to walk through it like this, otherwise it'll hit you. So probably don't go for that, but it's there. Damn. For whatever reason, it seems like it always gives you a double the next candle you break after doing that. I don't know if the holy water hitting the bone pillar is somehow setting that up. But then you can just walk here. There are no sub-weapons in these candles, so you can grab all of them if you want, but you only need like 4 hearts or 3 hearts to kill this. So, hang on. I gotta start over. This boss is vulnerable to the clock, which, let's test the claim that there's no sub-weapons here. This. Yeah, okay, so there are no sub-weapons. This is a big heart, which is useful. So for the boss, if you have holy water, it's really simple. You walk to the door and then right 2.5 tiles and you go just like that. If you don't have the holy water, I think it probably is smarter to stay over here and just keep swinging. It'll run into you. Maybe the right side would have been better. I don't know, because I never, like, don't have a sub-weapon here. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I can do this without getting hit a bunch. Let's try the right side. Okay, so she always goes for you. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're probably not meant to be able to do this without a sub-weapon without taking damage. But yeah, the pattern is you throw the holy water once and whip twice. Then throw one more holy water and just keep whipping until she's dead. Also, for some reason, the A and B buttons go on like turbo fire here. So if you just hold them down, you'll jump and whip repeatedly. It doesn't work in the Famicom Disk System version for some reason. The stopwatch also freezes that boss and the first boss. Oh, thank you, Bug. So if you have the stopwatch, you can guaranteed kill the boss. This area is tricky. Actually, I'm gonna reset the room. I think the enemy will respawn, I'm not sure. So I'm of the opinion this is actually one of the hardest parts of the game, this stage here. So first of all, these flea men are really, really hard to deal with when you're learning the game. The way they work is, if they're far away from you, they're almost guaranteed to do a short, like, long hop. Otherwise, they'll do a big high jump that can go over your head like this. And you just learn which distances are safe and which are not. So you don't want to let them get out of control. Overcooked is good. These guys, if you have the level 3 whip and your timing is good, you can just do that. I'm gonna kill this guy. I would normally use him to do a damage boost up here. But it's a really small time save. This is a big heart. If you somehow get hit, which is not that unlikely here, there's meat right here. Oh, he respawned. Yeah, I'll show you. I'm not too good at it, because, like, I never played this as a speed game, so I'll miss some of these strats. Normally, you don't you use the one that I just killed, but I think if you stand like right here and you just jump, get up there. It's a little dicey because that skeleton can hit you after the damage boost. It just depends on if it feels like being nice. Here's a weird part. If you walk off the edge here, you just have to fight this bird, right? But if you jump off the edge, you spawn this ghost. I'm not sure what explains this, and also I accidentally saved state instead of loading it on. But the birds are super random and quite difficult. This thing where you jump and throw the holy water to extend its range is really, really useful against the birds specifically. If you don't have a sub-weapon here, there's an axe. It'll sometimes fall through the platform, so you have to be ready. But there are some birds coming up where I'll take advantage of that. And it's not like a totally guaranteed kill, but it's very close. Just walk here. And the way skeletons work is they throw bones at random. And they try to maintain a certain distance from you, which is true for like most of the enemies in this game. There's a distance from Simon that they're looking for, so you can force them to walk back. So if you walk at this skeleton, it'll try to get away from you and jump into the wall and over your head like that. It's the safest way to deal with it, but it's still dicey because you have these Medusa heads. Where did I save? Oh, right here. Hang on. I can't get out of getting hit. Done. Okay. Hey, phase. Hey, there's money here. If you crouch down there, get some money. Why not? Holy water here will kill this guy. If you do it a little further back, you'll drop the axe. So be careful that you don't jump on the axe. Mike was the protagonist. Okay, so for this room, you want to just walk. And then sometimes he'll just jump right over you like this. This is the ideal thing. But if he stops to fire, you'll need to bounce him off the wall. Duck here. There's money back here. You don't need it, but it's there. These birds are where the birds start to get really annoying. So, like, once they spawn, they're on a timer, the birds. So, like, it'll always make its move at the same time. But where it moves is not consistent. So you can get the rhythm down and do that. Ideally, you do this jump right after it starts flapping because it'll pick a position relative to yours. And that includes the Y position. So if you jump early before it's picked somewhere to move, sometimes it'll fly up way too high. Like this. That can be annoying to deal with. Hey, Ashen Circle. You wait, you do this. And what you're doing here is holding up and then hitting A and then B, and then letting go of up and just mashing B. And you're attacking the space above your head with the holy water and then descending with the whip. So if it flew low and dodged the holy water bottle, you'll always kill it. There are some really low flight patterns that won't work on. I just hope you don't get those. Did I say hi, Ashen Circle? Hi, Ashen Circle. These birds, safest thing to do is this. But if you're confident in your timing and you have the level 2 whip, this is guaranteed. This will always kill them. Bone pillars I haven't talked about, but they're like the most annoying enemy in the game. They take 6 hits with the whip. And unlike every other enemy, they don't go into like any kind of hit stun when you whip them. So once they fire, they're gonna go 1, 2 at that exact rhythm, even if you're currently attacking them. So if you're really close like this, you just go, that will almost always happen. You have to react to the first fireball and slow down the rhythm of your attack so that you take the second one out in midair. So these things suck a lot. If you have the holy water, then all you do is take out the first fireball and then jump and throw holy water after they do the second one. You just stay back here. And then you whip. If you do one holy water, you whip 4 times and they die. If you don't have the holy water, it's still better to hold back or hang back. Wait for that first fireball, take it out, and then jump over the second one. And it's 6 swings. So the reason that you do that is like, you know, once they throw that second one that you get a couple guaranteed hits before they might attack again. So chances are you can get away with just killing them. That guy almost never kills you, but he can be a little scary. This part is really frustrating. So, as you know, like if you don't... Oh, hang on. I forgot to mention something really important about Medusa heads. They do a sine wave. They move in a sine wave pattern. Centered around your Y position from the direction of the screen that you're facing. So, here's how this shakes out. If you're facing Medusa heads and just walking, it's fine. But if something makes you jump, which enemies will, then you'll get weird spawns like this that can be a lot harder to dodge. And there's no limit to how many can be on screen. I mean, you'll only ever get 2 because they're too fast to stack up in bigger groups than that. But it can make it tricky, especially because this guy makes you want to jump. So there's a few ways to deal with this. It's not likely that you'll have a full life bar going through here if you're not like a master of the game. If you are, you'll probably have taken some damage boosts, so you still won't have a full life bar. But that's how you have to react if they do the fireballs while you're attacking. You slow down the rhythm of your attacks. It's very difficult. So if you have holy water, you can just walk through it and it'll despawn once you cross this threshold and spawn the mummy on the left. You can keep doing this to despawn all the normal enemies. Even like on-screen Medusa heads, which is kind of weird. But if you don't have holy water, this probably the toughest section in the first 3 levels. Medusa heads are really interesting. All of the AI in this is like complex, not the right term, but it's like flexible. So you get really interesting results depending on like subtle differences in your positioning and stuff. So I guess we're doing what if you don't have holy water, right? You want to stay grounded and... You remember that bug where I hit the bat at the same frame that it hit me and it damaged or it killed it? I got that again. That's why it died in 5 swings. By the way, don't get this. This is a knife. The knife is worse than your normal weapon. It's very rare to have any use for it. So these guys are jerks because you can't jump over them. They're really tall. And they just sort of walk around unpredictably and do a lot of damage when they run into you. If you don't have a full life bar, grab this. You just get down in here and... Except that you're going to take some hits. Try to do something like this, you know? On the other hand, if you have triple shot holy water... Yeah, they... like in any video game, really. So if you have triple shot holy water, you've already seen this strat where you start the boss fight and go up here. You just start throwing holy water. It's really important to do it from this step, because if you do it from here, you'll get the knife. But you can just throw it until they both center on the fire, and they'll die. The famous campfire strats. If you want to do something funny, you can walk into this wall for a while and a bag spawns there. You can't get that, but it's funny. So I am gonna be honest with you, I always have a sub-weapon when I get here, so I have no idea how to kill these guys without it. I assume you just grab the meat, you just sort of go. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like when they fire their bandages, if you can sort of like do like you do with Medusa heads and walk toward them so the bandages go under your feet. Sometimes that wouldn't be doable, I guess, but that seems like... Yeah, okay. This isn't so bad. You really want to get here with a sub-weapon, though. Otherwise, I think you're going to lose your credit. Oh, and I'm about to die, but... Never mind, I'm too good. Stage 4, I guess is hard. I hear a lot of people say this is hard. I sort of forgot that. There's a stopwatch right at the beginning. If you're not speedrunning, you don't want it. These are small heart or a bag, I think it varies, and a big heart. So if you die here, the way you want to recover from this is you grab this big heart first, because the big heart will always drop, right? So now you have 10 hearts, so this next small heart that should have dropped becomes your second whip, and then the next becomes your third. Then you can get the watch if you want. Not too uncommon to take a death here, so it's good to know how to recover from that. Generally, these mermen won't hurt you when you're on the moving platforms. You want to get up here and get this. This is holy water. It's important. Jump down here. That, you see how I crouched on that platform? You have to do that. If you don't, that happens. So crouch. These jumps are hard. They look easier than they are. You want to aim for like kind of the middle of the platform, because it's pretty easy to fall if you land on the leftmost edge. This part sucks. These harpies will randomly spawn on the right or left side of the screen. I guess they're just birds. And so like this game drops, I think enemies will drop stuff not at random, but every few kills. It might be like every, every 13 plus, 1d4 or something. But whatever the case, you tend to be due for a sub-weapon drop once you get up here. And it will be the axe, which is worthless. So what you want to do is you need to keep moving, because if you let two of these on screen, they'll just start jumping all over the place, and they're totally unpredictable, and it sucks. So the trick to moving is you should always jump over the spot where it died, because if it drops an axe and you're just walking, you'll collect it. So you try to do this. If you get a really low bird spawn, the bird will hit you, so you just have to wait. And then walk under this guy. That part's really important. You don't wanna fight him. I quit Star Tropics because I got a little uncomfortable with its character designs. I'm sorry. So the way that building up these multipliers for the sub-weapons works, like, it's supposed to be every 10 targets you kill, and that could be candles or it could be enemies. There's an invisible counter that's going up by 1. And once it hits 10, the next small heart that you would have gotten is instead a multiplier. It's glitched in a couple places. First of all, don't get this. That's a knife. Remember what I said about the subweapon candles are usually somehow indicated using like the background. This is another one of those cases. But if you listen when I like throw the holy water at the bone dragon coming up, it's gonna make a like noise. Well, you can't hear it. The previous bone dragon it did. So every frame that the bottle is in contact with the bone dragon, it's counting that counter up as if you were killing enemies. So if you have the holy water here, you see, you have to jump because you never know. You want to get here with the holy water, and if you have it, one good way to guarantee that you get the double multiplier, which is all you really need, is to, instead of going through this door, turn around and do this, and listen. You hear that? It counted all the way up to what I need to get a multiplier out of the next drop. So when I kill this candle on the left here, it should be a small heart, but instead it'll be a multiplier. The same thing is actually happening when you stun lock this. So you'll get a triple. That's why dying at the beginning of stage 4 is not a big deal. Also, if you need meat, it's right here. And then this part, this guy sucks. I don't know what like a good coward strat would be. The problem with like taking this out instead of damage boosting through it is like, it's pretty easy to get hit a couple times. Did I save? Yeah. So honestly, what I do is I just walk off to this tile here and I jump, and then I jump again. And if you get hit there, you were probably going to get hit trying to fight it anyway. If you just absolutely have to kill it, you can cheese it from back here. There's a big heart in here. But I wouldn't fight it at all. Even if you like don't have a sub weapon, because there's meat to your left anyway, so you should be able to take that one hit. Here is the absolute worst place in the game to lose your holy water, meaning it's the worst place in the game to die. This boss sucks, and unlike most bosses, he starts moving before the music changes. So like, as soon as I get to him, I can start doing damage. See that? That's not normal, and it means that he will catch you off guard, even if you're trying to just cheese him out with holy water. Once he gets started, this, I believe this is supposed to be Igor. He fires just kind of whenever he wants, and he jumps all over the place, and it's super hard to avoid. So if you die here, this is like a Gradius checkpoint where like if you're not a master of Castlevania, you like that trick, the pause buffer, then it's probably better to just start over. I mean, you could try and keep losing all your lives, but chances are you will lose all your lives. You got to get in there really fast, and when you can't kill Igor, but he will freeze for like kind of a while when you hit him, so that can buy you time. I find it's not generally that useful, but this isn't as hard as fighting death without a sub weapon, but it's close. Like you see, I almost died there, and I played a lot of Castlevania 1. But the thing is, if you die on death, there are sub-weapons on the way back to him. All you get on the way back to Frankenstein and Igor is a knife, which sucks. So if you have triple shot, or at least double shot holy water, the idea is you get here, throw a bottle before the music even changes. One, throw for 2 swings over and over again until it's dead. That's foolproof, but you have to be really fast, like faster than you think. David Blaine. I find this stage easy. It's got tricky parts. Like the very beginning is a little dicey because as soon as you spawn in, there are 2 flea men. You just kind of have to feel them out and know when they're going to do the big slow hop over your head. It's totally positional. So if you wait here for it to start acting, it's always going to do that. And like hang on, do I have to do, yeah, I have to, and the way it works is like, once they're inside a certain, once they close in past a certain point, you can't get them to do the big jump. Yeah, this level is awesome. So you want to get a feel for where the distance where they'll do the big jump is, because it's the safest thing they can do. And then you can walk under them if you want. You can kill them in between hops. But until you get that down, like, this is probably going to be a pretty tricky section. I'm glad you think so. I think that was a holy water. If not, this is. I can't tell you. Okay. Interesting. Hang on. I can force an axe drop, I think. Or a knife drop. So, if I do this, I think next guy here should drop the knife still. Yeah, okay. So one of these candles has the holy water. It may be this one. Okay, yeah, this one right here. So if you lost your holy water and you somehow got past Frankenstein, you can do this. I needed to lose the holy water to tell you which candle that was. I don't know any of the other games as well as I know this. I've beaten a lot of them like without dying, but if I had the patience, I could probably speedrun this one and be like relatively competitive. Like, the thing is, it's a super optimized game, right? So even if you were super good at it and you did like lots of attempts, I think it would be hard to crack the top like 30 times. I'm not sure I could do that, but I'm pretty confident in Castlevania 1. I don't think there's much to say about this other than, like, since you know that this skeleton here is going to generally try to be about this far away from you, you can do the same sort of manipulation you did before and get it to jump off screen, and it'll do this big jump over you. Then you can, like, push it to the side, and once it's far enough away, you can safely go up the stairs. It's really daunting to deal with everything down there while that guy's raining bones on you. That game, I'm interested in trying. I've been meaning to play it. Whoops, I forgot to talk about this room. So, we go up here, hold up and right. That'll get you up the stairs, and then you'll start walking right at the top of them. And then you just jump and attack immediately. It looks like this. Like that. This is a really dangerous room. And the way damage works in this game is, like, it scales up as you progress in the game. It's not that individual enemies have, like, their own damage values that they do. So if I get hit by this, you see it does this big fat grip of damage. Anything that hits you is going to do that much. Walk into this for a while. And a 1-up spawns down here. Pretty good to know. AK price. Part sucks. There's not much to say about this part. These red skeletons, have they shown up yet? Yeah, they're in like stage 2, aren't they? When you take them out, they get back up. This guy sucks. You're gonna find your own strategy for dealing with the flea men. I like to find the distance where they're gonna do the big jump. When I don't feel like just going all out and pretending I'm a speedrunner, which these days, like, I've watched enough speedruns that I can fake it well enough that the flea men aren't what scare me. It's the stuff that usually kills speedrun attempts that scares me. These are the first axe armors in the game. I want to get rid of this flea man. Oh no! I killed the axe armor. Come here, flea man. Do you see, just like the skeleton, like this, it won't come any closer than. How many tiles is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll hang out about 5 tiles away from you. So if I walk forward, like, it only moves every so often. So I can get really close, but eventually it'll go, oh, okay, I'm 5 tiles away, and start pacing back and forth. You don't need to crouch to take out the low whips. I actually always forget this. You might need to in Castlevania 3 or something. So these things are generally safe, but I think the timing of their attacks is random. Also, you can despawn him if you just walk at him, because eventually he'll go too far. You can't despawn this one on the left for whatever reason, and it's in a really tricky position. But you remember how, like, since they always want to be 5 tiles from you, you can push them away by walking at them. You can also pull them the other direction by walking away. So if you want to go really safe, what you do is you wait for this one to, you throw holy water, and then you walk away, and he'll walk into it because he's trying to get 5 tiles away. Don't get that. That's an axe. And then the like fast way to deal with them, it does require holy water. And you have to be a little careful because they can drop a subweapon. But it's just, you'll see. Yeah, all of the like projectile enemies work this way. I guess that's how you take them out with the whip. Like, you don't get too impatient. It's good to wait for them to attack once, because they won't attack like twice in quick succession, so you can get a lot of hits in before you're in danger again. I would say attack 3 times and then wait for another attack and then go in again. But the other way to deal with them, if you have the holy water, you just do this. You have to do it right. You do the straight up jump and then walk to the left. They'll walk into the holy water and die. The Japanese version, the only difference, as far as I know, it may have the same tendency to crash that the US PRG0 does. I'm not sure. And that's it. JP would be the ideal abbreviation there, I think. But so you see, of course, if you get them with the holy water, you can just walk through them. I would advise, if you do this, go this route, jump before you're done walking through them, because they can drop sub-weapons, right? So if you happen to be walking through them as they die and they drop an axe, you'll lose the holy water. I don't think so. I can take a look. Give me a sec, I will. Because I think you're thinking of Castlevania 3, but now I'm curious. This thing sucks. By the way, this one right here. I think you want to be right here. Because if I were to take another step, it'd hit me in the head. The issue is that red skeleton will often stay on the screen there. So sometimes you'll get hit by it while you're attacking the bone pillar. You can't do too much about that. This is a cross. No. I rarely die, so I don't know these things. This must be the cross. Yeah. Use this on death if you lose the holy water. It's very hard to kill death without the holy water. This is the last meat in the level. Good to do this. So this room that's coming up is like one of the most notorious rooms in the game. What's going on is there are Medusa heads, right? And they follow their normal like Medusa head rules. And then also these knights who suck. So, you know, the general principle of like walk under or over the Medusa heads, just depending on where they are in their sine wave pattern, holds. And you don't need to worry about any sub-weapon drops unless the Medusa head or the axe armors drop them. But because you really want to jump at the axe armors to get in, it's really easy to screw up and give yourself like spawns like this. This is a nightmare to dodge while you're also fighting axe armors. If you want to make this super simple, get up here, get to the top of the steps, and wait. Once that passes under your feet, then you go. And it'll only get dicey right here because that jump can cause that Medusa head to spawn high. This room is hard as shit, so it's hard to not make it look easy once you know the strats. It's all about remembering about when these are gonna spawn, the Medusa heads. Like this is a more typical experience with the room, I think, where you take hits. And the reason that you jump in on the axe armors like this is it's the only way to move forward and attack at the same time. That's why it's such a pain that there are Medusa heads here, because their sine wave is like centered on your Y position. So if you're midair when they spawn, they'll spawn in a weird place. Death is tricky because of the very start and also because of the fight in general. So once you cross this threshold, death spawns. You'll see the camera locks and you need to get on it really fast. So like if you walk all the way to this candle and then back, he'll get a chance to spawn before you can unlock him. So he'll spawn those sides there. You want to just cross the very middle of the platform and then immediately start jumping and throwing holy water. The speedrun strat for this is really cool, by the way. It's like they go 1, 2, 1, 2. They like fucking go up here. they throw 3 holy waters and jump up inside his body and just start swinging. So if you drop this stun lock and you want to try to beat the game, this guy is hard because without the fully upgraded whip, it takes 8 hits. So you're likely to get hit. Just don't get discouraged because there is that meat up at the top. And this is where the knowledge about how the cross works really comes in handy. Or sorry, how the multipliers work. So you need to kill 10 targets with this, right? To queue up a multiplier drop. So what you do is you just get all these skeletons together, and then every heart that you spend throwing the cross gains you 3 on that counter. Once it counts up to 10, the next small heart will be a multiplier. You grab that, you just bunch these 2 together and do it again. You can run out of hearts doing this, so if I recall, is there a big heart back here or something? I don't know. You have to like go down and raid these candles to keep this up. But like if I do this a couple more times. So probably the next small heart I get will be the multiplier. No, not quite. This is desperation shit. Like, usually if I die on death, I just reset because this is more of a pain in the ass than just starting the game over and one-lifing it. Then once, I would recommend getting the meat once you're done here because it is possible to get hit. Don't use the crosses on the Axe Knight. They do actually have a shield. It has a like collision box and it will bounce the cross back. It's the only thing in the game that does. I think because of that, if you throw an axe just right, it'll instant kill Axe Knights. I'm pretty sure what's going on is it's overlapping with the shield and the knight's body, so it's hitting every other frame. There's a similar glitch with the cross. So you get your 3 crosses, and you spawn death, and you throw all 3 of them, and you just kind of hope. This is really chaotic, this fight. I think his pattern when he flies through might be fixed, but I don't believe the sides are. And They do a lot of damage. And look, even though I won, I died. That's really common to get with the death fight. The short version is, please don't lose your holy water. And don't be discouraged if you do and you can't come back from it. Because this is as bad as dying on Frankenstein. Almost as bad. Alright, the last level is tough as shit. And the big thing to keep in mind is that on this screen, you need to start holding up and left. It's so OP. These guys move on like timers, and it's really important that you move consistently. So you always hold up and left so that the frame the level starts, you start walking, and you go up the stairs as soon as you possibly can. Grab this. If that happens, take this hit. And then this pattern of jumps is really important because you always know when the bats are going to move, but you don't know where they're going to move. Yeah. Really, it's nerfed in every other game. It's just good in some of them. In Bloodlines, it seems really crappy. So I'm going to try to like show you what can go wrong. So first of all, you always want to hit this bat because it goes into hit stun. Okay, that's something that can go wrong, I guess. It goes into hit stun when you do, which slows it down. If you don't, then sometimes it'll do 2 really fast attacks. Yeah, it stun locks, but it's trickier than stun locking in this game. So if you want to jump here, because of that pattern that it just did right there, that will kill you if you don't jump. And it looks tricky, but it's actually quite simple. You jump so that you land on the leftmost edge of these platforms and then jump again. You will always get through if you execute that right, but it's tricky. So this is where it gets a little hard. Again, you know this guy is trying to maintain a certain distance from you, so if you walk to the right, he'll jump over the pit. That's the safe way to deal with him. If you go down there, you have to react to his shots, and you can die. This, to me, is like the hard part of the level. This room right here. For these guys, like, if you're not speedrunning and you don't want to take this damage boost here, where did I say? You can manipulate these guys in the exact same way that you did the skeleton on this room. So you walk all the way to the right. Wait. Once he jumps, you turn around, and it's very important that you do not jump because you will get hit. You turn around and immediately whip. It requires quick reflexes. And then you just go up these stairs. This guy on the top is much easier because you can push him to the left. Fuck it, just kill him. Don't grab, I believe this one is the knife. Yeah, don't grab that. Be sure you grab this and then jump and use the stopwatch midair like this. You don't want to do it too early. If you do it too early, like this, sometimes, you do it early, it's fine. I have before messed it up where I used the stopwatch so early that the enemies started spawning again. There's meat in here. If you can grab that safely, it can help, but be careful, because you never know if these birds are going to spawn on the right or the left side. So anyway, grab this, because it's a big heart, and you need to do 2 time stops. 1 here, then 1 here, just like that. If you don't do that, these rooms suck, like, big time. Getting down from here is awful. And then, of course, you're, like, way less mobile on the stairs, right? So dealing with the bird spawns from that position, like, I'm shocked I didn't die. I've played a lot of Castlevania. Your last big heart is up here. My HP total doesn't really matter too much because I'm not going to, like, the aim here is not to be perfect, so if you want to build up a multiplier, you use these candles. You get 5 per, so every 2 reps of this, you queue up a multiplier. What, right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, that's a cross up there. That candle I just got. So the next, the next small heart that I get is going to be a multiplier for the cross. You can do this to get triple threat too. You have tons of time. So there's nothing stopping you from doing this. And then people like to, as he's spawning in, he always spawns in on the right. Jump up and throw a bunch of these. If you're speedrunning, you do that and you hit him. Whoops. And you can use that to manipulate the game, giving you a guaranteed multiplier. It's hard. I don't recommend trying to learn it unless you actually want to speedrun. Be sure to get this big heart. Form 1, I think, is harder than Form 2, in all honesty. And I don't really bother throwing crosses at him, but the reason people do it is you do... let's see if I can do it. This number here, I think. Yeah, so you get the multiplier, and you pick up the holy water first, then the multiplier. That's really tricky. I wouldn't bother learning it, but... So Dracula feels really fucking random at first. In actuality, where he teleports is based on your position. So if you're consistent in your position between cycles, he'll give you the same stuff. The reason that that's hard to do is, like, when he teleports directly on top of you, if you cross him up, he'll turn to face you. And his hitbox is not symmetrical, so you'll get hit if that happens. What you want to do is, when he spawns directly on top of you, which will happen, you walk in the direction he's facing. So if I'd walked to the right, there would have been no help in getting hit. I think this is really tricky to learn. It's like the hardest part about the Dracula 1 fight. Unless, again, you're learning speedrun stuff, which it's a very technical and extremely difficult kill. I just have this built into my muscle memory here, so it's pretty rare for me to get hit on Form 1. And if you want, you can dodge him until he spawns in the corner. Because once you deal this last point of damage, he turns into the Cookie Monster. And it's really hard to switch sides with him. So if you want a fighting chance, it's better not to kill him when he's at mid-screen. This is really hard with just the whip. There are, like, ways to manipulate him to give you patterns you can walk under. I don't know them. So I just try not to have the whip. Yeah, like, I'm not surprised I died there. Oh my god, this save state is so far back. Let's see if I can get that manipulation a second time. I'm sure I can. Oh my god, I'm dumb. You want to grab that heart. You don't want to jump through the screen transition. It's counterproductive. Yeah, I need to get more hearts. Way to go. This is enough. So... I'm trying to salvage this. There we go. There. Don't try to do that manipulation. It's pretty tricky, and you can take a lot of damage setting it up. He's not that bad without getting the double holy water. I'll save state here, actually. Because it's the easiest position to find, I try to just stand right here at the right edge of the coffin. Again, if your position is not consistent, he'll be teleporting all over the place and it won't. I've never been sure if like the pattern of his teleports actually changes, or if the asymmetrical nature of his like hitbox just makes it seem like he's all over the place. Okay. So if I just start the fight here, that's cool. Let's try that again. If I just start the fight here. This is why you want the double holy water, because you can stun lock him if you have the double. Let's say you don't. Let's say you just have the holy water. You probably don't want to start the fight with him in the middle of the arena like this, but the thing to do is jump 3 times for every swing. Or, sorry, for every holy water. And then on the way down, shoot the holy water again, like that. Because it will tend to take out his fireballs. And you can react when the next holy water hits and, like, find out what he's up to, you know? That's why, like, I don't think not getting the multiplier is, like, a huge deal here. But it is inarguably a more dangerous fight. Hey there, Sheriff. I have no idea how to kill him without sub-weapons. I've never thought to try. But there you go. Those are all, like, beginner-friendly strats. If you're trying to speedrun the game, none of this shit is going to help. The game loops after you beat it. It probably is like a strategy guide's worth. You know, I mean, I probably forgot about some enemies, but, you know, the basic point is most of the enemies that fire projectiles look for a fixed distance from you, and you can use that to your advantage to move them around. Never jump if you don't have to, especially if there are Medusa heads afoot, or a neck, I guess. And yeah. If you want to like learn to get good at side-scrolling action games, I really think this is like the best one to start with. Not because it's easy. I don't think of it as a very difficult video game, but I've played it so many times that like that doesn't mean anything, you know? Yeah, thank you. I did completely forget my pizza. It's just that, like, if you can beat this game, like, without continuing, or really just without getting frustrated, right? Like, even if you continue a couple times, like, if you know you can sit down and probably beat this game on a time frame that feels reasonable to you, you're set up to learn a lot of these other games pretty well. The loop's kind of different. For one thing, this torch isn't normally here. There are a few like extra score pickups. Like if you kneel here, this spawns a money bag. That's not there on the first round. The game is like, the loop is kind of shitty. It's a shame. So like the enemies are all a little faster, and they deal the same damage that like I think they're faster. Maybe they're not. They deal the same damage that like an endgame enemy would in the first round. So if anything hits me here, it's going to do a grip. The loop sucks. Hey, go. And there are a few parts that are really dumb. Like that underwater cave level with the moving platforms. This shit is impossible on the loop. Because the mermen will pop up right under your feet. You don't have a way to attack down there, so you're just screwed. Also, damage boosts are way, way more damaging, of course. Cool. I've not missed that in that way before in my life, I think. So, like, you can't even skip as much of the game as you would like because you'll just die to the damage boost. No. Dumbass. So, like, I've done it. I've one-lifed the first and second loops, like, back in college. I've never done it on stream. It's too fucking hard. And, I would be fine with that because I love really hard video games, right? There's just nothing, there's no issue there. The issue is that it stops getting harder when you reach stage 5. Like, there are no differences in stages 5 and 6. So, it's like, the difficulty just ramps up and up and up and up and up, and then you beat Frankenstein, and then it's just the exact same as doing the first loop. It's really unsatisfying. But yeah, don't learn the loop. I guess I need to go get pizza, and I'll, like, think of a different game to play. If anyone's got any ideas, I've got a Famicom, I've got a Genesis, I've got a PC Engine. Plenty of stuff I can play. The poop loop, yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, I'll highlight this so that you don't lose it.